Hi, this is Terry with Onboard with the Osborns. Today is Thursday, February 29th. Happy leap year and a very happy birthday to everyone celebrating, especially my best friend in DC, Marcia. Happy birthday, kid. In an earlier video, you watched us put sprouts on our big salads, or you watched Ace do it. And so today we're going to just do a real quick run through of how he creates those. Okay, Ace, why don't you tell us what we're looking at? How does this process get started?
Hi, you can call me Ace. Yeah, you create your sprout vessel or buy a sprout vessel, a receptacle of some sort to sprout your sprouts in. You can get them online, but I chose to use a jar. I used a glass iced tea jar with a plastic lid. Plastic lid's important because the metal lids will rust
Good to know.
eventually, because when you drill holes through your lid to drain the water out, you expose metal on the metal lids and then they rust. So I've tried it all. Um, so I started out with iced tea jars because I like using glass as opposed to plastic. But when we moved on to the boat, we switched to plastic. Um, and I started out with big jars because we had the space and a big kitchen and everything. But on the boat, I used small plastic jars. And you drill holes in the plastic lid to drain the water. But first, you soak your sprouts overnight.
The very first time. The very first time you put the
Yeah,
seeds into
you
the
put
jar.
in about a half a teaspoon in the jar. Soak them overnight. You don't smoke them. You soak them overnight, and then drain that water out in the morning. And then in the evening, there's a picture of the soaking.
All right.
And then in the morning, you drain that water out, and then in the evening, you pour more water in and drain it right away. And then you pour water in and drain it twice a day. I do it first thing in the morning and at dinner time.
And so these are now how quickly do you start to see a change in the seeds becoming sprouts?
I actually looked the other day, and actually in day two, I could see a little root sticking out, or a little sprout sticking out of a seed. We use several different kinds of seeds in our mix, and I don't know which one it was, but they start sprouting very quickly. And the rule of thumb is rinse them for 3 to 5 days, and then they're ready to eat. I sometimes we go a little bit longer than 3 to 5 days. I mean, up to 7 days sometimes to get a little more green leafy sprout. But sometimes we eat them quickly, like in 3 days. If we're out of sprouts and we want to put a little something on our salad or in a smoothie, we'll eat them sooner.
And can I ask, is there any harm that you know of letting it go longer than 7 days?
I don't know anything for a fact
Okay.
about any of this, but I can't see where there would be a problem letting it go. And you could let them grow into full plants and then eat them probably.
Okay.
You
But
could probably eat the seeds too, probably, but I'm not going to.
and so about how many days are you looking at a half a jar there?
Oh, I have probably 5 days worth.
Okay.
I think I think this jar that we took the photos of, I think that's a 7-day event there.
Yeah. And then can I ask why you started to do this? Why did you start to grow your own sprouts?
Well, I wanted sprouts, and I went to the food store, grocery store, and I couldn't find any sprouts. And I went to the health food store, and I couldn't find any sprouts. And got checking around, and people didn't sell sprouts anymore, fresh sprouts. And I guess because their shelf life is too short. Um, that's the best answer I know of. You might know better than why they quit selling them. But I wanted sprouts, and then of course I'm always trying to be frugal, and I do like growing things, and so it seems it's a lot cheaper to buy a bag of sprouts and just sprout your own. It's easy once I figured it out, and I keep two small jars going now at the same time, or as soon as I dump one in its container, then I wash that jar, or you wash that jar, and then we start it again. So I have we have two jars going at the same time at different levels
Wow,
of growth.
very cool. Okay, and then I think the only other thing that we were going to talk about how long the seeds last. Um, I'm just looking. I'm cheating here at my paper. Um, and I also wanted to ask you, can it replace our spinach for vitamins and nutrients? If we're on long passage sailing, and we don't have, fresh food does not last long, but this is something you can grow in water on the boat. Could we substitute our salads with this?
I read in a magazine probably 40 years ago. The magazine was called Mother Earth News,
Yes.
if you remember.
Yes, I do.
And there was an article about sprouts and how someone could probably survive on pennies a day if all they ate was sprouts. And so that's just a bit of information that I've had in the back of my head. I think, again, I don't know anything, but I think sprouts are very high in nutrition, vitamins, minerals probably. And I think it's a very healthy, complete form of nutrition, although I'm sure they're lacking many things that a person needs. But can that be your primary source of green vegetable? Since we use different types of seeds, I would think so. But, I mean, I don't know if I would want to sit and eat a whole bowl of sprouts unless I was starving, then I would. But
Right. But you put them on sandwiches, you put them in smoothies. So disgusting, but that's what you do.
they're really good at smoothie. I mean, it's nutrition. I don't look at a smoothie as a form of entertainment. I look at it as a splash of nutrition in the mornings.
Right.
But
And I'm all about mocha lattes and
yeah,
peanut butter and toast.
that's all good too. But I also use ground hemp seeds that was actually recommended by a dietitian when someone said I had pre-diabetes. And I said, well, I have pre-death too. What are you going to do about that? But they didn't have anything for me to eat for that.
Okay.
So, you know, I think they're nutritious. But again, I would suggest anyone do their own research
Sure.
and
Right.
verify your sources, and don't listen to me, just some dude on YouTube. I don't know anything about it, but I like my sprouts.
Yes, and we have them every night, and we have for since 2012 is when I think that's the closest date I could come to. So
We've been growing sprouts that long?
Yep.
That's a long time.
I know.
The only other two plants we have on board is our philodendron. His name is Wilson. We've had him for 13 years. And he has been with us. He was our first plant that we bought in Iowa, and then he came to DC with us, and now he's on the boat. And then the other plant that we have is a pineapple plant. When the kids come over, I like to do crafts or science experiments. I'm really not big on screen time. And so we bought a pineapple one time, and we planted the crown. And this is Luma. The kids named her. And she is supposed to have her own fruit at about 4 years old. She's 2 years old here. And so we will watch her grow and hopefully have a pineapple in a couple of more years. Thanks for watching.